friends, it's Simon here from Franrec Recruitment, and a very warm welcome back to What's News in AI. And as always, delighted to welcome our franchising guru and expert, Mr. Simon Woolard from Absci. Hi, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm very well. And thank you for that inflated introduction. That's very kind of you. It's been, as ever, an interesting week in AI. I try to pick out things a little bit off the beaten track, a bit more quirky, but I think are going to play quite a role in our everyday lives down the line. So this is just a little way for you to get a sense of what's bubbling away that you may not have come across your video screen in an ordinary way, and hopefully it's a little bit of value and interest to you. And of course, if you've got any questions, you want to find out more, just send us a message.
Brilliant.
So there's two things. I'm going to do some screen share. The first one is with a language model called Claude Anthropic, or Anthropic Claude, whichever way you want to say it around. Most people are familiar with OpenAI and ChatGPT. Well, Claude is a front runner along the giants of LLMs, large language models. And there's this kind of arms race at the moment with each one trying to outdo the other with the kind of features it releases. There was a rumor that ChatGPT was going to be releasing very soon ChatGPT 5, which is a huge step change, but they've held back. And part of the reason for that is they know that there's other interesting things coming from their competitors, such as Claude, such as Perplexity. And of course, you've got Gemini from Google, and also Meta is out there doing things. But Claude Anthropic has just released a feature. It's in beta. It's not available for everyone. It's really been tested, but it's being kicked out there, a thing called computer use. Now, I'm going to show you a video from the people at Anthropic because it explains it a lot better than I do. But fundamentally, it's about inviting the Claude Anthropic large language model AI as an agent, if you like, onto your computer and giving it verbal instructions. At this stage, it's just written instructions to go do stuff. So once it's on your computer, it can find things, solve problems, and then solve a lot of manual tasks for you in a way that you would have to do on a daily basis. So just bear with me. So here is the official video from Claude Anthropic. And where we're going to jump in is that Claude has been loaded onto the computer. It's been invited in, and it's going to demonstrate filling in a form. And what the LLM does is it has been given access to a CRM where there's a whole list of information on various companies, and also a Google Sheet. And by simple prompting, the Claude will try and get the information from what's available by simply taking a lot of screenshots and then going to the right place on the screen to fill out the form. I'm going to play it. It lasts about 90 seconds, but we'll sort of pull out of it as and when you get the form.
To look at the spreadsheet, check if equipment is in there, and if not, move over to the CRM and try and find some more information there. Once it has this data, Claude's going to then fill out the form for us and hopefully transfer the information across to the vendor form. The first thing that's going to happen is Claude's going to start taking screenshots of my screen and quickly realizes that the Ant Equipment company isn't actually in the spreadsheet. So the first thing it does is it swaps over to a CRM and searches for the company we're interested in. Luckily, we get a search match, and Claude then starts scrolling through the page, looking for all the information it needs to fill out this form. Claude then autonomously starts transferring the information across without me having to do anything, and goes through the steps and fills out all the information needed.
The future of the way that these AI agents, Claude in this example, are going to be letting into your daily work and just simply giving it instructions to do things. By giving it access to your computer and all of your files, it's going to be able to run that sort of tasks for you. At the moment, it's just with prompting, but eventually it'll just be with verbal commands. We're not talking about next month or in 6 months' time, but this will be a familiar way of us using AI in 3 to 5 years time for certain. The next thing I want to show is about video tracking. And just this week, there's been a new platform using AI that's been introduced called CoTracker, and it's a partnership between Meta, which was formerly Facebook, and Oxford University, a couple of big hitters. Now, the problem with video tracking at the moment is most training that has to take place has to be done on what's called synthetic models, because it's been very difficult in the past to track actual, what we call real videos, because of the difficulty of having established plotted points on a frame, because of course any video is just thousands of single images all spun together under speed, and then continuing that same plot on the next frame, but then anticipating where the mover's gone. So they've had to use something that are called markers or labels, and it really slows up the process, and it means there's a lot more data and information that's needed in order to allow video tracking. So I'm just doing a quick screen share, and by all means, you guys can go and investigate this should you wish to. Just bear with me. Okay, so this is CoTracker 3, and you can see the web address up here, cotracker3.github.io, should you be interested. This is traditional videos, not that great, often synthetic, but what CoTracker 3 does, and here's a couple of other examples, where you generally lose the person when they go behind what's called obstructions. Now, CoTracker 3, which is down at the bottom here, you can see the cyclist going behind the man, and then the line's continuing. And then this is the offline version here. You'll see you're going behind the dunes, behind the man, and then he emerges the other side. Now, these have data points on them, and you can have up to 10,000. And that means for many different situations, that video tracking and the ability for models to anticipate what is going to be happening and where things go for general monitoring is going to be given a lot more opportunity in the future for accuracy and speed. It uses a lot less data points and a lot less data. And so real world scenarios where this becomes really interesting, well, many of us are sport lovers, and we know about VAR and decisions that are made through sports analytics. And we're using traditional cameras there, but we lose line of sight. We lose line of sight of the ball, we lose line of sight of the players, and it takes a bit of time to get all those angles together to figure out where things are and what's actually happening. Now, while this is fairly crude at the moment, you can imagine that this kind of capability means that the AI knows exactly where everything is in three-dimensional space at any given time, and therefore can interpret that data to come up with a specific decision. Other areas where this becomes really important is the likes of autonomous driving, cars, vehicles that will be a big part of our future, being able to understand the environment around them and to anticipate all the things that are happening within its 360 degrees of where it's operating, even if things go out of sight. And of course, hazards, small children, people on bicycles, anything that could be a potential danger and unseen in traditional cameras, that'll make a big difference. And of course, there's other things like tracking of people, generally from all the CCTV cameras around the world, walking down the street so you don't lose people, particularly useful in pursuing criminals or nefarious activities. And finally, another example is with augmented reality, virtual reality games, where the ability to feel totally immersed, especially when some things go behind others within the three-dimensional space, that could become quite an important thing as well. So whilst not mainstream at the moment, these are the kinds of things that make a big difference to the way we're going to experience our usual enjoyments in life in the future.
Thanks for that really interesting update. Two things there that we've got to look forward to in the future. Let's finish off. Tell us a bit about one of the, and you talked about it, you talked to me about this earlier before we came on, one of the projects you're working on, and one of the applications you're working on at the moment, which is going to be particularly relevant for people that use a lot of video in their social media posting, for example.
Yeah, well, I mean, podcasts, video podcasts, a bit like what we're doing, become more and more popular. And of course, what you want to be able to do is to make the most out of a single piece of content without having to spend too much time reformatting it and then figuring out the most efficient way to put it on your other channels. Because of course, you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, and even LinkedIn now allows you to post vertical videos, which is a new thing that they're introducing because they want to jump on that bandwagon. And so What I'm working on at the moment is a system, an automated system that allows you to transform a horizontal video, this is called a 16:9, into a vertical video in an automated way, and provide captions. The system that you and I work on, and I've worked on for you, allows you to do many things, whether it's getting a transcription from a video, whether it's creating a blog or tweets or what have you. This is another thing that can get added to that system or be used as a standalone, and just save people time and saying, right, I've made this video, I want it to be in vertical format so I can post it to my other socials. Press the button and off it goes. And then within a few minutes, you've got a vertical format video that you can use to distribute.
Brilliant. I mean, that'd be really interesting when you've nailed that. Can you come back and show us what it's all about?
Yeah, sure.
Be interested as well. Excellent. Simon, thank you very much indeed for your time again this week. I really appreciate your insight and thoughts and really keeping us ahead of the curve of everything that's happening in AI, because it moves so quickly. So thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. I hope it's interesting for some people.
Yes, indeed. Take care. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.